Hello. How is everyone today? I hope you've had a wonderful day so far. For our practice today, we're going to do a slow flow with a little bit of energy moving, especially like through our back and our abdomen. So you might want a block for this practice, but otherwise you shouldn't need too many props. So make sure that you are nice and comfortable, and we're going to begin in a nice comfortable seat. So while we're getting all set up, I would encourage you to listen to your body, respect your body. This is going to be so important in any yoga practice because yoga is supposed to be nourishing and gentle and respectful of our bodies. So at any point in time, when anything is hurting or making you uncomfortable, anything feels pinching or stabbing, we want to dial back that intensity. Take it down a notch. Get back to where you are not in pain. Now that doesn't mean that you can't push yourself in yoga a little bit further each time, and that's how we make progress. But if you are ever feeling anything that is truly uncomfortable, stabbing, intense pain, we need to stop. So you can always take it down to a comfortable seat. You can always just dial back the intensity of the pose that you're in, or you can always drop to the floor in child's pose. So while we're going through the practice, respect your body, respect that the information that it's telling you, and we'll have a nice, safe practice. Now, during the practice, I'll offer some modifications, but I won't know everything that you need because I'm not with you. So if you know your own particular modification for a pose, I encourage you to use that. If you know that you are able to go beyond whatever it is I'm teaching, I encourage you to do that as well. This is your practice, so dial it back or dial it up, whatever works best for you. But let's just come to a comfortable seat right now, and I encourage you to let's take a few moments to find ourselves, center ourselves. So if you want to be in an easy seat, do that. If you'd like to lay down on your mat, extend your legs, or you can have your feet flat on the floor. Just find a position that's comfortable for you so that we can take a few minutes at the beginning of this practice to settle and to center. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and take some nice deep breaths. As you're breathing in, I encourage you to fill your lungs to capacity. Nice, deep, full breaths. And hold at the top, and then breathe out completely, all of the air. Breathe in. And breathe out. I like to think of the exhales as really just getting all of that energy, everything that's in my body, out of my body, cleansing it all out, just pushing it all out, getting it out of me and into the universe. Sometimes it feels just so good to exhale. Let's do a few more rounds of cleansing breath here. And when you're ready, if you've chosen to lie on the mat, roll to your left side and push yourself up to a seated position with your right hand. We'll meet back together in an easy seat. I would like to begin this practice focusing on an area that we don't give a lot of love and attention to, and that is our feet. So go ahead, if you have anything on your feet, go ahead and take those off. I just took off my socks. And what I want to do is to begin by just focusing on our toes. So a lot of your mobility, of course, is based in your feet, but it also is drawn directly from your toes. And we don't focus a lot of attention on the flexibility and pliability of our toes. So what I would like to do right now is, with your right foot and your right hand, I'm going to put my fingers between my toes. Now you'll notice I can't get my fingers completely in between my toes, and that's okay. I don't have a lot of flexibility in my toes just yet, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to focus on that, work on that, and grow that part of my practice. Now I'm taking my fingers and I'm just curling my toes gently over towards the floor, just for a nice stretch. I'm feeling a stretch between my toes and across the top of my foot. If this is uncomfortable for you, if you have any kind of foot issues, plantar fasciitis, things like that, you might want to be careful with how intense this is and respect it. If you are feeling uncomfortable in it, maybe omit this, or don't put your fingers between your toes. Maybe just, gently stretch them. Let's take our fingers out and let's just pull those toes back towards you. One more time. Let's just take our whole hand, curl those toes over, and then pull them back towards you. Lovely. Let's do that with our other foot. So our left foot and our left hand, take your fingers and put them between your toes. See how many you can get, how far you can go. I can't get between my fourth and my pinky toe just yet, but that doesn't mean that I won't keep trying. This is very similar to if you ever go and get a pedicure. When they put those things between your toes, I always find it very uncomfortable because it's wedging my toes apart. But it's something that I should work on because my posture is built from the ground up. And as you age, a lot of flexibility and stability is coming from your grounding, your feet. All right, let's go ahead and release our fingers. And let's just take our whole hand and wrap it around those toes. Just give them a nice stretch down towards the floor. And then back. Down towards the floor. And back. All right, we're going to do one more toe stretch. Go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. Ooh, I had pops in my knees. We're going to take our big toes and bring them together, and we're going to take the ball of our foot and bring it together. And we're going to take our heels and bring them together. And see if you can press your toes together. Can you do it? How's that feel? I'm feeling stretching in my lower legs. Where are you feeling the stretch? And release it. Now let's go back together. So we're going to take our toes and bring them together, our heels and the ball of our foot together. That does feel good. All right. So with our warm-up today, we're kind of moving from our grounding, our feet, and we'll move up through our body, which is a different pattern than I normally do. The next one that we're going to do is our staff pose. So our feet are already extended out in front of us. Inhale your arms up overhead. We're going to hinge at the waist, fold forward towards our toes. If you can reach your toes, fantastic. If you can't, that's okay too. Grab a hold of your shins, the floor, whatever it is that you need. With each exhale, see if you can't sink a little bit deeper into the pose. Take your hands and press yourself back up. Wonderful. From here, let's come into a wide-legged seat. So we've got our legs outstretched in front of us, and we're going to hinge at our waist, and we're going to fold forward over our right leg first. So hinging at the waist, and you can either have a flat back or a rounded back. Press yourself back up, and we're going to the left. And press yourself back up. From here, go ahead and bring your feet to the floor, and we're going to come down onto our hands and knees for cat-cow. So for cat-cow, we're looking to have our wrist directly underneath our shoulders, and we're looking to have our knees directly underneath our hips. We've got our knees about hip-width distance apart, which is about the width of your fist. So in cat-cow, we're going to drop our belly towards the mat, take our shoulder blades together on our back, and then as we exhale, we're going to round, pushing that spine up towards the ceiling, pressing all the air out of our stomach, and spreading those shoulder blades on our back away from each other. So inhale, drop your belly, press those shoulder blades together, and on that exhale, press that spine up towards the ceiling, spreading those shoulder blades. Again, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, and come to a neutral flat back and tabletop. From here, let's take our hands up off the mat and press ourselves up onto our knees. Moving into gate pose here. So for gate pose, we're going to extend our left leg out to the side. The pinky edge of our foot is on the mat. We have our right knee directly in front of us. Our hips are tilted forward. Our abs are engaged. We're going to slide our left hand down our leg, inhale our right arm up, and hinge over to the left. And drop that right arm down. Bring the left leg in. Going to extend the right leg out. Pinky edge of our foot is on the mat. Going to slide our right arm down our leg. Inhale your left arm up and hinge to the right. Go ahead and drop that left arm. Bring that right leg in. We're moving into low lunge. So I'm going to do this from the side. I'm going to take that right leg forward. I'm going to place the bottom of our foot on the mat. So for low lunge, we're going to bend and we're going to work on this hip flexor here. So we want our right foot out far enough in front of us that we're going to be able to bend into that knee while still being able to see the toes of that foot. So if you need to walk this out a little bit further to make sure you have enough room to be able to bend into that knee, go ahead and do that. So we're going to bend into our right knee, bend a little bit forward, maybe working on that hip flexor on the left side. We've got some engagement over here, and we've got some stretching over here. Now I just have my hands resting here, but if you need the support, please use that as your support. Go ahead and press yourself back up. Let's go back into it again. Just lean forward a little bit. And press yourself back up. Now we're going to go into the side lunge. So I'm taking my right foot, I'm taking it out to the side of me. So I'm going to turn to face you. So we had it in front, and now we're going to move it to the side. So walking our foot out far enough that we can bend into that knee and not take our knee over our ankle. So bending into our side lunge. And then we're going to bend into it again. Wonderful. Go ahead and press yourself back up. Bring your right knee in, and we're going to do the lunge on the left. So take your left foot out in front of you, walk it out as far as you need to, so that when you bend into that left knee, you can see your toes. When you're comfortable, go ahead and bend into that left knee. And you might feel some stretching here in your right hip flexor. You might feel some engagement over here in your left leg. Go ahead and press yourself back up. And let's bend into that again. So bend in. And press yourself back up. Now let's take our left leg out to the side for a side lunge. Walk those toes out far enough. And go ahead and bend into that. And press yourself back up. And bend into that. And press yourself back up. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring that left leg in. Now, from here, we're coming back down to tabletop. And we're going to get some movement going on. So we're going to begin by taking our left leg and we're going to extend it out behind us, and then we're going to bring it through to our forehead. We're going to do 10 of these. So extend behind and to your forehead. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wonderful. Go ahead and bring your knee down to the mat. We're going to do the same thing on the right. So extend your right foot up to the ceiling, and then we're going to bring it through to our forehead. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go ahead and drop that knee down to the mat. All right. So let's move on to pigeon. So while we're in tabletop, go ahead and bring your right knee over to your left wrist. Now, for pigeon, for me, I can't get my leg to go all the way out to the side because I have tight hip flexors. You might be able to, and that's fantastic. The point is everybody's body is different. So, if you want to be able to feel it and you have a block handy, one thing that you can do is when you have your knee up front and you have your left leg extended, you can always take your block and stick it underneath your seat on the right side. And then from here, I'm going to walk my hands forward and fold over that right leg. Press yourself back up. If you're using a block, go ahead and take that out, roll to your right side, extend your right leg behind you, roll down to your stomach, place your hands underneath your shoulders, and press yourself up to a baby cobra. And come back down to the mat. Let's do baby cobra again. Come back down to the mat and press yourself back up to tabletop. Back to child's pose. And come back up to tabletop. From here, we're going to do pigeon on the other side. So from tabletop, we're going to take our left knee to our right wrist. Now, if you have the flexibility and mobility in your hips, then your leg might extend more out to the side than mine does. And that's great. And if you can't get there, that's okay too. A yoga practice is your own personal practice. You're not practicing for anybody else except for yourself. Now, I'm using a block as a prop so that I can be in this pose and experience the stretching effect of it. begin to press yourself back up. If you used a prop, go ahead and remove it. And swing to, or drop your hip to the left side. Extend that left leg out behind you and come to be on your belly. From here, take your hands underneath your shoulders and press yourself up to a baby cobra. And back down. Press yourself back up to a baby cobra again. And come back down. And then from here, press yourself up to tabletop and back to child's pose. Come up to your hands and knees in tabletop, and then press yourself up onto your knees and come to stand at the front of your mat. What we're getting ready to go into now is going to generate a little bit of heat. You may also want a block if you have one available. So we're at the front of our mat. We're going to step our left leg back. We have both of our toes pointing forward. Inhale your arms up overhead. And we're hinging at our waist and we're going to fold forward. We're going to frame our right foot. And using your hands, walk yourself back up to standing by pressing yourself up along your leg. From here, we're going to move into Warrior 3. Now, for Warrior 3, I like to move through the prep position. So if your front leg is out a little bit further, go ahead and bring that in. If you would like a block or 2 blocks, this would be a good time to grab those. And so moving into Warrior 3, what I have found is the easiest thing to do is transfer our weight to our front standing leg. We move to the ball of our back foot. So we're just transferring our weight right now. Then as we're doing so, we come up onto our toes. We're moving our weight forward. We have a nice long straight spine all the way down our leg. And from here, we can bring our foot off the mat, hinging at the waist, folding forward. Make sure that if this hip moves up, you drop it to square with the mat. And if you want to use a block, that's what they're here for. Drop that hip so you have a nice straight flat back. Flex your foot. And if you feel stable enough, you can always extend your arms out to the side. Lower your foot, bend into that front knee, and bring yourself back up to standing. Wonderful. Now, we're going to take up the intensity just a little bit. So we're moving back into that Warrior 3. So we're coming back up onto our toes again. We've got a nice long straight line from our crown all the way down to our toes. We're going to hinge at our waist, bringing that back foot up off the mat. Drop your hip if it's moved up. And then this time, we're going to do some squats. So drop that left foot to the right side of your mat. Bring your foot back up. Drop it to the right. Bring it back up. drop it, and bring it back up. And then we have one more. Drop that and bring it back up and lower back down. Wonderful. I know I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it? All right, now we need to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to turn and face the other way. So we're in mountain at the front of our mat. We're going to step, in this case, our right leg back. Both of our toes are pointing towards the front short edge of our mat. We're going to hinge at our waist and fold forward and extend your arms and frame your foot. Walk yourself back up, using your hands to press yourself up along your leg. From here, we're moving into Warrior 3. So if you need to step that back foot forward just a little bit, go ahead and do so. So we're going to transfer our weight to our front leg. We're on the ball of our back foot. We're looking for a nice straight line from the crown of our head all the way down to our toes. We're going to hinge at our waist, bringing that back foot up off the floor. You might want a little bit of a bend into that standing leg. If your hips come up, go ahead and drop that down. And if you feel comfortable, extend your arms for balance. Go ahead and drop your foot and come back up to standing. All right, now remember, we're going to take up the intensity for this one. So if you don't have a block or you haven't grabbed one yet, you might want it. So I've got my block. I have my right foot extended behind me. I'm on my toes. I have my left foot nice and grounded for my stability. I'm going to hinge at the waist, and as I'm doing that, I'm bringing my back foot up off of the mat. Hinging at the waist. If your hip comes up, drop it down, square it with the mat. If you feel comfortable here, you can extend your arms. And then we're going to do squats. So take your right foot and drop it to the left side of your mat. And bring it back up. Drop it. And bring it back up. Drop it. And bring it back up. Drop it. Bring it back up. I've got one more. Drop it. Bring it back up and lower back down. Come up to standing. Whew. That was good. That was intense. And it wasn't really fast movement. And that's the beautiful thing. You can get a workout without having to, run a marathon. All right. Let's go ahead and come back up to our mountain again. We're going to fold forward, hinging at the waist. Plant your hands on the mat and step back for plank. Now, we're moving into side plank. So let me tell you about that real quick. For side plank, we're going to transfer our weight to one of our arms. If you have a wrist issue, you might want to do this from your forearm. And I'm going to do that for this because my wrist is a little bit sore. So we're in plank. I'm going to drop down to my forearm for this. For side plank, Your legs are extended out behind you. We are turning the sides of our feet on our mat, and we're going to extend our left arm above us. We're looking for a nice straight line. We're not having our hips dip down towards the mat. And we're engaging all kinds of muscles. Lower that left arm down. Rotate your feet around. Press yourself up to plank. Drop your knees. Come into tabletop. Go back for child's pose. Come back up. And bring your right leg out in front of you. So we have our heel down. We are on our left knee. And we're going to fold forward over our right leg. Go ahead and press yourself back up again. Bring your right leg down to meet your left. Come back down into tabletop and bring yourself up to standing at the front of your mat. All right, now we did our right, now we need to do our left. So I'm going to move this way. So folding forward, hinge at the waist, plant your hands on the mat, step back for plank. If you're using the modification, go ahead and do so. I'm going to drop to my knees to allow me to go to my forearm. This time I'm using my left forearm. I'm rotating to the sides of my feet. I'm going to extend my right arm above me. Bring your right arm down, rotate your feet, come back up to plank, drop your knees for tabletop, sit back for child's pose. Come back up, and this time bring your left foot out in front of you. We have our heel down. And we're going to hinge at our waist and fold over our left leg. Using your hands to press yourself back up, bring your left leg in. From here, we're going to take it down a notch and start working on our cool down. So we're going to move into frog. If you have something slick that will help your legs, help one knee move away, you can go ahead and do that. If you have a bolster, so some people find a bolster is nice and supportive in this pose, or you can just go old school. We're taking our knees as far apart as is comfortable, and we're extending our arms out in front of us and just coming to rest. You can play with adjusting your torso, either more forward or more back. Play with what feels best in your body. If it becomes too intense for you, bring back the intensity, and you can even come into child's pose. Using your arms, press yourself up and bring your knees back to center. From here, lower yourself down to your mat on your stomach. Extend your arms out in front of you and your legs are behind you. From here, we're moving into Superman. So for Superman, we're going to raise both our arms and our feet off of the mat, kind of like Superman flying through the air. If only one set works for you, so raise your feet if that works, or raise your arms if you can't do both, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to do 3 of these, and then we're going to roll onto our backs. So with our arms and legs extended, go ahead and engage. Raise your arms and legs off the mat. And come back down. Engage. And release. And engage. And release. Take a nice deep exhale there. All right, from here, we're moving over and rolling onto our backs. We have our legs extended, and we're going to bring our right knee up towards our chest. Wrap your hands around that knee, and if you feel like you need to take some movement, go ahead and take some movement. Just going to press that knee in towards our chest, extend it out, and bring that left knee towards your chest. Nice little hug there. Bring in that right knee and the left knee. That right knee. And if you feel like you want to take a little bit more movement, drop that right knee towards the mat. Bring it back in. And then our left knee. Nice hug. And drop it towards the mat. Let's do a couple more rounds of this. All right. Do one more round. All right, I'm on my final right. And my final left. All right, from here, bring your feet flat on your mat. We're going to take our right ankle and rest it on our left knee. Now, depending on the intensity that you want is going to depend on where you can grab your leg. So I'm going to raise my left leg off the mat, and I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to wrap it around the back of my leg. Now, if you have more mobility and you can reach up here, however it is that's comfortable for you. Just looking for nice stretching here, nice release from what we've done. Let's revisit that nice even breath, cleansing breath. Go ahead and release. drop that right foot to the mat. Bring your left ankle to your right knee. Wrap your hands around the back of your thigh. Or if you can grab further up on your leg, do that. Whatever works best for you. Go ahead and release down to the mat. And we're going to do one more before moving into Shavasana. So we're going to take your feet the width of the mat. We're going to drop our knees to the right side of the mat. We're keeping our back flat on the mat. We're just moving our knees. We've got our shoulders flat on the mat. Go ahead and begin raising your knees. If you need the support, use your hands to bring your knees back up. Let's take just a few moments here. If you want some movement, take some movement. If you want to bring your knees into your chest and roll your lower back and massage it, feel free to do so. And let's drop your feet back to the mat. Place your feet the width of the mat again. We're going to take our knees and drop them to the left side of the mat this time. We're keeping our shoulders on the mat. And go ahead and bring your knees back up to center. If you want to take a little bit of movement, take some movement. You can always bring your knees to your chest and roll out that lower back just a little bit. Whatever feels best for you. And from here, we're moving into Shavasana. So if you want a blanket or a pillow, whatever it is that you like for your Shavasana. We're going to be here for a few minutes, So get yourself set up and comfortable. And I'll let you know when time is up. Begin to release the tension in your brow. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth and soften your jaw. Allow your shoulders to melt into the mat. And on your exhales, feel the cleansing power of the breath. Allow your feet to open wide. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back into the space. Begin wiggling your fingers and your toes. Extend your arms up overhead and do a good morning stretch. When you're ready, roll to your left side and press yourself up to a comfortable position with your right hand. We're going to meet together in a comfortable seated position. Let's inhale our arms up overhead, palms together, and down through heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today. I would like to leave you with this thought. A positive attitude will lead to positive outcomes. Thank you, and namaste.